Hi everybody, welcome to Tag Growth Stocks channel. Today I present you a new video. Specifically, I will give you 5 top clean energy stocks for March 2021. So these top clean energy stocks, they have excellent growth and they have good momentum as well. So I think it definitely pays to watch that video until the end with me and have a look at all of these top clean energy stocks. So before I start right off with the first top clean energy stock, I have to make a short disclaimer. This video does not constitute financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only, so please consider that. And also one more quick note, please subscribe now to my channel with the link in the description below so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me. So please subscribe now. Okay, so that was it for the intro. So let's start right off with the first top clean energy stock for March 2021. And as you can see it in the chart, it is NIO. Here you can see the long-term chart of NIO. And as you can see, NIO was an IPO in September 2018. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here. And then, let's say around March 2019, it could not break out to the upside. No, it broke down to the downside and formed a downtrend. And I mean, that happens often as well with IPO stocks. I mean, IPO stocks, they have huge potential because the super performance stocks, 95% of their super performance is happening in their first 10 years after their IPOs. So it definitely pays if you watch out for young companies and get on board early. But these companies are not without risk and they can have breakdowns as well, go into long-term or into medium-term downtrends and then made their lows. And that was exactly what happened here with NIO. And yeah, but then finally we could reverse from that lows or from the low we made around October 2019, trade to the upside and form a nice and strong uptrend in NIO. And so definitely always be aware that you can suffer heavy losses with IPO stocks as well. And yeah, but still it turned out good for NIO and we had a strong uptrend then. And in the short-term chart we see that strong uptrend, I mean very strong. And then yeah, and now here we had a base building phase at the top, broke out, but we could not continue the rise. Now we pulled back in here with the overall market, with the overall tech pullback, the growth worries. But I think these are not justified. I mean, I think we will continue to rise in all of these growth names and in the tech sector. I mean, there is where the money is made and where the future lies, in the tech names and in the also in clean energy stocks. So I think this correction, I mean, it was overdue, I mean, for instance, NIO had last year way strong performance run, I think around 1200% or so. I mean, this is quite a strong performance, so that you have pullback then, I mean, that is normal. And yeah, also we need that wall of worry, so we need pullbacks in order for we can climb further in the stock prices. And I mean, when you see now, we came back from $66 to around $31 or $32. I mean, over 50% correction in NEO. I mean, this is quite strong. And I think still now the entry levels are good for NIO. And when we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's sluggish, it's minus 60%. But the sales growth, it's way good with plus 154%. And the relative strength rating, it's still way good for NIO with 97. So I think with these characteristics, NIO is definitely a top clean energy stock for March 2021. Okay, so that was it for NIO. So now let's have a look at the next top clean energy stock for March 2021. And it is PLUG, Plug Power. Here you can see the long-term chart of Plug Power, and as you can see, I mean, we were moving sideways for quite some time in Plug Power, and then we started to break out that sideways moving phase around November 2019, formed a nice and very strong uptrend in Plug Power. And we see as well, for instance, here we bounced off the 50-day to the upside. Here we bounce again off the 50-day to the upside. Here we bounce off the 50-day to the upside. Here we had a bounce of the 50-day as well. and then recently we came back heavily with the overall tech pullback and growth pullback and momentum pullback, came back in plug power as well, and now it looks like we are kind of bouncing off the 100-day moving average, and we had a bounce now and looks like soon we could continue with the uptrend in plug power. In the short-term chart, I mean, we see that strong uptrend here, and we see here, we came back, and and now the entry level, I mean, the current price level, I think it's attractive for a position in plug power, especially when we consider, I mean, we traded up to $75, came back to $32. This is over a 50% correction in a very strong momentum name in the clean energy space. So I think the current level is attractive for plug power for a position. And when we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's sluggish, it's minus 20%, but the sales growth, it's good or strong with plus 55%. And the relative strength rating, it's very strong as well with 97. So I think with these characteristics, plug power is definitely a top clean energy stock for March 2021. Okay, so that was it for plug power. So now let's have a look at the next top clean energy stock for March 2021. And it is FCEL, fuel cell. Here you can see the long-term chart of fuel cell, and as you can see, I mean, fuel cell was in a long-term downtrend, let's say, we started with that downtrend around 2015, and then we let's say we made a low, the first low around June 2019, and then we traded up a little bit and we made another low around October 2019, and then we could reverse from the low straight to the upside at here pausing phase, but ultimately we had a strong breakout starting around November 2020. Here we see it in the short-term chart as well. We had that strong breakout in November 2020. We traded, and then we traded very strongly to the upside, had a very strong momentum move in FCL. I mean, we traded up from around, let's say, $2 to $3. We traded up to $29. I mean, it's a 10 times move in a quite short time period. And then we came back heavily in fuel cell again with the overall tech and momentum pullback, but still now looks like we're bouncing off the 100-day moving average to the upside, and I think soon we could continue the uptrend in FCell. And I mean, correction wise, it's an over 50% correction in fuel cell, or let's say we had nearly a 70% correction in fuel cell, a quite strong correction. And I think the entry level now is attractive for fuel cell. And when we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's sluggish, it's minus 63%. And the sales growth, it's good with plus 18%. And the relative strength rating, it's excellent with 98. So I think with these characteristics, fuel cell is definitely a top clean energy stock for March 2021. Okay, so that was it for fuel cell. So now let's have a look at the next top clean energy stock for March 2021. And it is SPWR, SunPower. Here you can see the long-term chart of SunPower, and as you can see, we have been moving sideways for quite some time in SunPower. Then we had here a breakout, tried to make an uptrend, but no, we could not. We broke down again, and then we made also low. We had here another Corona breakdown. In SunPower, we made the Corona low in March 2020, and we reversed from these lows, traded up with the overall market in SunPower and broke. And then we formed a nice and strong uptrend since then. Very strong uptrend. And in the short-term chart, we see that nice uptrend. And in that uptrend, we see as well, for instance, here many bounces of the 50-day or a little bit above the 50-day. Here one bounce, here one bounce, here one bounce, here one bounce, here one bounce again. And yeah, now looks like we are bouncing off the 100-day moving average to the upside. And overall, we came back heavily as well in SunPower, like many of these, like with many of these top clean energy stocks. I mean, we traded on $57. We came back to $27, more than 50%. And yeah, now I think the entry level for SunPower is attractive. And when we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's very strong with 2,807%. But the sales growth, it's sluggish with minus 43%. But the relative strength rating or the momentum is very strong with 96. So I think with these characteristics, SunPower is definitely a top clean energy stock for March 2021. Okay, so that was it for SunPower. So now we come to the last top clean energy stock for March 2021 for today. And it is, sorry, it's loading. Okay, it is DQ, Deku New Energy. Here you can see the long-term chart of Deku New Energy. And as you can see, we have been trending up, let's say, since around December 2018. We formed a nice and strong uptrend here in Deku New Energy. For instance, here you can see a bounce of the 250-day moving average. Here we had a bounce of the 250-day moving average here as well, a bounce of the 250-day moving average, and then we had a strong acceleration to the upside, very strong uptrend since, let's say, around June 2020. Yeah, we accelerated strongly in Deku, and recently, yeah, here we had like kind of a bounce of the let's say we undercut the 50-day a little bit and had a bounce to the upside. Here we undercut it as well a little bit, and still we had a bounce to the upside. And now we undercut again the 50-day a little bit, and it looks like we are bouncing off the 100-day moving average, the green line. We are bouncing off it, looks like, to the upside. So I think from an entry level perspective, Deku is looking good here. The short-term chart, we see that uptrend here, and we see here, yeah, the correction, and here we see the bounce, the recent bounce after that tech pullback in Deku New Energy. When we look at the growth characteristics for Deku, I mean, these are good as well. The EPS growth, it's strong with plus 46%, and the sales growth, it's strong as well with plus 76%, and the relative strength rating, it's very good with 95. So I think with these characteristics, Deku New Energy is definitely the top clean energy stock for March 2021. Okay, so these were the top clean energy stocks for March 2021 for today. I hope in that video are some nice clean energy stocks which you can use for your research. And also please subscribe now to my channel with the link in the description below and hit the notification bell so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me, and also so that you do not miss part two of the top clean energy stocks for March 2021, which I will be releasing soon. And also thank you for watching that video. I had fun making it, and I think this year will be an excellent stock trading year with all that fiscal and monetary stimulus going on around the world from all of these central banks and governments. I think at the end of the year we could see much higher stock prices because all that liquidity has to go somewhere, and I think it will end up in the stock market heavily. And so I think it definitely pays if you do your homework and do a lot of research and watch out for the strongest tech names and growth names, and also for the strongest themes like the top clean energy stocks, or like for instance top internet stocks, um, or top genomic stocks. I think these stocks could have very strong runs going forward this year, and so I think it definitely pays if you check these stocks. And why not check my channel from time to time, because exactly this is what I'm doing here. I'm looking for the best themes in the market and for the strongest tech names and growth names and strongest momentum names. So if you need stock ideas, have a look on my channel from time to time. Okay, so thank you for watching that video, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.